it's a twisty one. I definitely love writing women who take back their power. I think that's become a theme in a lot of my recent thriller books. And, something has happened. We all have kind of collected different trauma through life, and it's very powerful. I think women are taught to be nice and to be quiet and maybe put your needs last or at the bottom of the list. And my heroines tend to have something that happens to them or a few things that lay that groundwork, and then something happens that they get to choose, this is a defining moment, and are they going to rise and take back their power, or are they going to continue the same way and maybe slowly lose themselves? And I've had a few different relationships in the past that felt I touched that energy where you don't know it while you're in it, that maybe you're losing yourself until you're out from it and you look back and you're like, oh my goodness, I let them tell me who I was or what my needs weren't or were. And then you don't even hardly know who you are anymore. So that was the sort of one of the themes that I was interested in delving into. And I have been to New York City a few times the last few summers. I've spent some time in New York City. I think it's just vibrant, and there's so much diversity and things going on all the time. And it's a place that maybe like not everyone's from there, but people come from away and like pursue a dream. And I loved that idea, but I also love that the main character Ellie is from there. So she has this grounded presence, and her father has this presence from decades before she was born, this sort of business network behind him. And it's men are used to being able to like rise to the top. It's natural for them, and I think women have to find that power and take it back, bring that confidence up. Sometimes it's a little bit more work in some ways to navigate those systems. And then in a sort of a male-dominated business world, I loved exploring that. And I like women in friendships. And sometimes that's very complicated. Sometimes that's toxic, and sometimes it's wonderful and supportive. And sometimes you don't know. Like when it's a new friendship, you're like, what is this? You're sort of discovering it. And opening up vulnerability and trusting people. And maybe sometimes that's a mistake, and maybe sometimes it's the most beautiful friendship that's lifelong. So I really liked a few different themes that came together. The main character has been very sort of isolated and sheltered and very focused on just pursuing her career and getting through college and doing the daily routine of life and getting married and all of that, and sort of pleasing her father, and also having this door opened for her in her father's business. So she's never really had to seek out community. It came to her. And I think the society, she just gets this invitation one day that is surprising, and she figures it's through her father's network of business people that he's known all these years, or maybe through Columbia where she went to college. So I think she's also she's lonely. She doesn't have friends or community, which as a writer I sort of really struggled with for a lot of years. I was admittedly a hermit for a long time, and I would pride myself in being like, I haven't left the house in 2 weeks. Like I just order out groceries and I just do the writing thing. And a couple years ago, probably right after the COVID stuff, I realized how lonely that was becoming, and I couldn't continue to do this for another 20 or 30 years of the rest of my life. I was again sort of losing myself too. So I had to consciously build community, and it's been so wonderful for me and inspiring in different ways and supportive. So I think Ellie is a reflection of that too. And the society sort of comes to her, and she's so overwhelmed with the idea of having this community of women behind her that are all different ages that she can learn from and get wisdom from, and just have somewhere to go for a weekend away and unwind or share different stories and experiences. So it's sort of her loneliness that drives her into the society, and maybe perhaps she overlooks a few red flags or something because of that loneliness too, and sort of how we make decisions or the people we surround ourselves with, when maybe it's not always the healthiest, but what's pulling us in that direction. Especially at that age, I feel like up to 25, you're in college and you're getting your career started, or maybe a little after. And then from that zone where you're just working so hard, you get very focused on some things and other things get lost. So I think that's where she's sort of at. So the society comes at a perfect time and she's eager to be a part of it, but also feels a little bit like an outsider too, and a little confused of like how did they find her? Why did she get invited? And so it's just a interesting way for her to navigate those different female friendships too, until she starts to realize that maybe they have some secrets of their own. So that's fun.